Words have the power to transform our lives. And the most successful business owners understand that in order to succeed, they have to get the right offer in front of the right audience, wrapped all up in the right messaging. And today, I'm so excited to be chatting with Anna Powers. She is a conversion copywriter and an online business mentor. She's a former civil litigator who now uses her background of analysis and strategy to support 7- and 8-figure businesses with their messaging and to train and certify copywriters so they can build thriving online businesses. I love all of this and I can't wait for our conversation. Welcome, Anna.
Thank you so much for having me, Laura. I have been looking forward to this interview, so I'm thrilled to be here.
Me too. And I was just mentioning, we've just moved to Italy and you're my first live interview and I'm getting adjusted to the time difference at 7:30 here now. So it's like starting to get dark and it's like trying to find the right location to do this. So, it's maybe not perfect, but I'm here and I'm so excited for this conversation because messaging, I talk about this all the time. It is so important. So I know why I know it's important, but I'd love to hear you share why messaging is important to you and what you see in business.
Yes. Well, you nailed it in your introduction when you said you need the right offer in front of the right audience, all wrapped up in the right messaging. So what so many business owners miss is they put all this time into creating an offer and building their list, and then the messaging is just kind of thrown together at the end, and they feel like, well, I worked so hard, it's such a great offer and I have all these people who need it. They should just know, they should just intuit that it's right for them. And it's really our job as the mentors and the leaders and the teachers to demonstrate to the people in our audience, hey, this is why this offer is going to be so helpful and so transformative for you. So you can have the perfect offer in front of the perfect people who desperately need it. But if you don't know how to communicate the value of that offer to those people, they can't get to a place to where they can buy, which is obviously a shame for you as the business owner, because you're not going to grow your business. You're not going to get those clients, but it's hurting the people that you got in business to help because you have something awesome that they need, but you're not doing the full due diligence to make sure they understand why it's so important for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people, the messaging piece can be confusing for people to understand. So I help people with the high level messaging, right? The positioning, the essence of the brand, the personality, the tone, all of those kinds of elements, which feeds into what a copywriter can do, because then it helps them to understand what the business is all about without kind of really starting from a blank canvas. So, but it isn't copywriting. I don't write the copy for your website or your landing pages. We need to work with people like you for our clients to then translate this foundation and this really amazing high-level messaging into the copy that's actually going to sell whatever it is that they do.
Yeah. Branding and copy go hand in hand. I mean, you need both. And I love that you say you're high level, because what we teach our certified copywriters is we're in the details. We're in the nitty gritty. We understand that the difference, it sounds wild, but the difference in 2 or 3 words on a landing page can double your conversion rate on that landing page. Imagine double the people coming onto your list, being exposed to your offer, having the chance to step in because of 2 or 3 little small words. And that's the power of taking the high level vision and then knowing how to translate it into the nitty gritty details of all the words that your business is going to be using on your website, your emails, your landing pages, your sales pages, your social media, your ad copy. Like it's kind of endless, the amount of copy that businesses need, and it all matters and it can all make a difference for you and for your people.
Amazing. So I know there's some people joining us. If you have questions for Anna about copy, please pop them into the comments. We'll share them. She can answer them live. If you're watching the replay and you have questions, just tag her in the comment. And, because I think you're such a wealth of knowledge and just like a ray of sunshine. I don't know. I always enjoy chatting with you. This like magnetic smile. So, So, and I find it so fascinating that you said there's like just 2 or 3 words. So are there things that you notice that people are making, like common mistakes or
Yes.
words that people are using that you're like, you should not be using those? Do you have any tips or any sort of quick takeaways that would be really valuable for people?
Yeah. So 2 things. The second one is going to be call to action. So if I if I forget, remind me, call to action.
Okay.
But the first one is go to your website or your latest, several emails and look and see how many times you use the word I. This is one of the biggest mistakes that I see people make who haven't studied copywriting or they haven't worked with a well-trained conversion copywriter. Is everything is framed up as, even on a landing page, I'm going to give you XYZ. Simple shift. You're getting. When you sign up for this XYZ, you'll get. It's much more powerful when we think of, like, if you're reading an ad, oh, I'm going to get this, versus if you're saying, I'm going to give you this, you're putting yourself in that position of, benevolent business owner. And it's not that attractive versus like, you're going to get, here's what you're going to get. So making a simple shift from I, me, this is how great I am. Oh my gosh, people do this so much on their about pages. And that was one of the first things I learned when I started studying copywriting is take away as many of the I's as you can and frame them up as yous, because people only care about our experience to the extent that they believe it will help them meet a goal that they have. So anything that I'm sharing, even on my about page, I'm not just sharing it because, oh, these are great accolades that I have. It's because I want it's because my audience will understand that this is some sort of training or some sort of award that I have that will be helpful to them, or a connection that I have that could be helpful to them. So that's the first one, is take a look and see where all your eyes are and how you could change them to use and put the power back in the hands of your audience. And then the second thing is the call to action. And this is more of a technical thing, but you want to have your call to action above the fold always. So sometimes people will go a little wild with their beautifully designed landing pages, but it's for a freebie, and you have to scroll down a whole page before you get to where you can put in your name and email. And some people just won't scroll. And believe it or not, some people just don't know to scroll. I know it sounds wild if you've been in the industry but some people, they don't understand. So if they don't see it right up at the top, a call to action, here's what you need to do. Click this box to register for this free training. They just won't do it. And similarly, when you're emailing your list and you have a call to action, try your best to put that call to action near the top of the email, then put it somewhere down in the body, and then put it in the PS. So the PS is the second most read part of any email. Obviously, the subject line is the most read part because nobody's getting into the email without a great subject line. But a lot of people are skimmers and scanners. So they're going to look for the call to action quickly. They might skim down to the PS, or they're going to, like, I'll bold almost all of my call to actions. We'll put them in bold and then be clear. Say, click here to save your spot. Don't just I see a lot of people just hyperlink the name of their program as if people should just know that, oh, there's blue text, so I should click it. And people we have a lot of decisions to make that just make it easy for your people to see what they're meant to do.
Yeah, it's like an embedded command, like do this now, right? Like it tells people, oh, I need to do this next, right? Sometimes we need that. We do make a lot of decisions, and sometimes we just need people to tell us what to do.
Well, and it can sound like we're not being condescending, but
No.
I saw that it's, by the end of the day, the average adult has made, I think, 35,000 or more decisions. Lots of those are micro decisions. I wanted a pen handy in case I need to take a note, and I have a whole box of pens, like which pen am I going to pick, but even that, after you've done that all day long, you just don't have that much left in the tank. So if Laura sends me an email and says, click here to get my color guide, I'm like, oh, cool, that sounds fun. Let me click there. Versus if you send me an email with a paragraph about your color guide and you just hyperlink color guide, I may or may not click. You didn't really ask for the click. And we get a lot, we get a lot by just asking our audience to do what we would like for them to do.
Yeah. You can't make assumptions, right?
Yeah.
Even if you think it's clear to you, it may not be clear to other people. And I just want to go back because I love what you said about the I's versus U's. And I talk about this a lot too. So it's nice to hear a copywriter is also, and I learned it from another copywriter that I've worked with, is that ratio of I's to U's on your website and emails. And so part of brand camp that I do with people is looking at what are your features, which is like, what are you actually doing? Like, what are you offering in your business? Because it's surprising how many people don't even have a clear outline of that. But then we really focus on the benefits, and I actually have them write them from the perspective of the client, as opposed to I give them this thing. It's like, I feel this, I receive this. Even though they're never going to write it necessarily in that way, but it's just about physically putting themselves in the shoes of their clients so they can actually go really deep into that. And then that provides a copywriter this really detailed outline description of thoughts, feelings, beliefs, behaviors that they can do that can then be incorporated into the website, which is exactly what you were talking about.
So good. And, I don't know any other branding person that I've ever heard say that they do that. So that's so valuable for anyone who's working with you specifically.
Yeah, we've worked with a copywriter for years, and she's like, the brand foundation that they get out of brand camp makes her job so much easier, because it's like, it's not that it's a no-brainer, but it's so there. There's so much to build on.
Yes.
That it's clear. Or even creating social content, right? You could have a social media person take over your content and know exactly how to write from this brand, what perspectives to take, what things to write about, what you could deep dive into from this. It's like it's high level, but it gives so much to it. So I feel like there's so much we could collaborate on.
Yeah. Well, there's something that you said about the work that you do in brand camp to really draw out the high level. And I wanted to hit on that because something that we teach our certified copywriters is how to tap into your potential buyers' identities, and also how to shift beliefs and help them see the possibility of stepping into a new identity. And I think it's transformational when a business can have all of that laid out. Like, this is who we are, this is what we believe, what we stand for, what we do not stand for, because it does make any copywriter's job infinitely easier to say, okay, this is the identity of their ideal client. And this is the identity of someone that would not be an ideal client. And we get to speak to those identities because everyone's going to make their decision primarily based on what they already believe and have believed for a long time. And so something that I teach our copywriters is, well, how can you start to ethically, not from a manipulative way, but ethically shift a belief? For example, if you're selling a business coaching program to moms, and you have a woman who believes that she's not a good mom if she starts her business before her kids are 5 years old, just making up a super random example. It doesn't matter how great your offer is or how perfect your offer is for her. As long as she has that belief, starting a business before my baby is 5 equals bad mom. She's not going, she doesn't want to be a bad mom. So she might want it, but she's not going to let herself go there. But if you can, in the copy, open up a new perspective about, hey, what if starting this business while your baby is little actually models for her that you can be a mom and a successful business owner, and she can start to shift that perspective of, oh, maybe starting a business while my child is still small, it doesn't equal bad mom. Maybe it equals actually great mom, inspiring mom. Then she's more likely to be able to say yes to that offer and pursue that dream and that goal that she has. So I love the whole, tap into the identities and understand the identities of your brand and your business, but also of your clients and where they're showing up from when they first hit your page or your emails, et cetera.
Yeah. We look at what are their challenges, right? What do they value? What are they dealing with internally, right? That's they're struggling with that's stopping them from potentially moving forward in whatever way, shape, or form. And it's important to tap into their challenges as much as what it is that they want to get out of the experience working with you, because they want to feel seen and heard and understood. And if you can tap in and understand what their challenges are, it's much easier for them to be like, oh, this person gets me.
And we all deserve that. I think, your customers deserve to be seen and heard and understood by you, just like I want to be seen and heard and understood by anybody that I work with. I want to feel like they get it. So it's like, that's just I think a sign of respect for your audience, that you take the time to do this work, which, isn't always the easiest work, which is why people like you and I exist, to help some of the toil out of it, and put some frameworks together and help make it easier and more enjoyable, the process. But it matters. It matters to your people, and it will make a big difference in how they are able to connect with you.
Absolutely. So we do have a question. It came in a little while ago. So sorry, Dawn, we were deep in something and I didn't want to get distracted. She said, what do you need to get started, as an example of mission and vision? And I'm happy to pop in here too. But, for me, you can't write powerful copy or get amazing branding photos if you don't first have a deep understanding of what the business and brand is all about. So I don't specifically use mission and vision sort of language, but that's what we do in Brand Camp. It's we get really clear on what is the essence of this brand, what is the position, why do you exist, what are the benefits, all of those details, understanding your target audience. So to me, that is really an essential first step before you can create the website and the offers and all of the other things. They all kind of mold together. But if you don't do that deep work first, you can end up sounding like everyone else offering what you offer. So that's sort of my perspective. And I'd love to hear what you think.
Yeah, we have two foundational pieces of messaging that we look at whenever we start to work with a new client. One is a simple elevator pitch. And it's a super simple framework, but it's basically, hi, I am, state what your name is, and I help, and then state who you help with specificity. So not just women, but, female business owners who are empty nesters, something specific about your audience. I help them do, make, or create whatever you help them do, make, or create, so that they can, and then result that they want. And a lot of people use a similar framework, but they leave out that last part. So they'll say, oh, I'm Anna and I help online business owners create magnetic messaging. Nobody cares. Why do you want to create magnetic messaging? So that you can attract quality leads and make consistent sales. So we'll help someone create that initial elevator pitch, because that can actually be expanded into an hour. I've gotten a multiple 5-figure client just from saying an elevator pitch at a lunch. It sounds simple, but it's so powerful. And so many business owners just don't know how to talk succinctly about what it is they do. So that's thing number one. And then thing number two, we call it the superlative statement. I learned it from a mentor of mine, James Wedmore. And it's, I think he uses a different name for it, but it's basically saying your vehicle, your thing that you help people with, is the superlative way for them to get results, the certain results that they want. So for me, that would be nailing your message is the fastest way to fill your programs with ideal clients. So I'm not saying my copywriting certification is the fastest way, or my messaging program is the fastest way. I'm saying nailing your message. Whether you do it with me, whether you do it with any other copywriter or messaging person on the planet, you need to do it with someone, because it's going to be the fastest way for you to actually fill your programs with your ideal clients. So those are two frameworks that we'll start with, just to help people get clear on who they're helping, why it's important, and why it's really the best thing that that person could invest in.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. There's so much value. And Dawn, I hope that was valuable. Definitely for me, I love those two frameworks, and that adding that in, that the fastest way to do that, right? It's so important for us to get clear on, what that outcome is for people. And people want quick results. And I think that really does definitely help when you add in a word like that into it. And that's what you said. It's just a couple of words that can matter.
And it could be, for me, I say fastest, but it could be the most effective, the most efficient. It could be the easiest way. It could be the most enjoyable way. I mean, you could do like leading a live retreat is the most enjoyable way. If you're a person who loves to connect, to sell your high ticket offers. I mean, you could do it for any business. A superlative that's great to use if you can is the only way. There are certain vehicles that you could argue, hey, this is the only way you're going to accomplish X, Y, Z. So you get to choose what makes sense for your vehicle. But the key is you're promoting the vehicle, not your specific offer. Because once you promote your specific offer, then everyone's defenses go up. Well, of course, you would say that magnetic messaging is the fastest way because you're selling it and you want me to pay you for it. So I would never say my program is the fastest way. I would say doing the thing that my program helps you do is the fastest way. And if you like my style of communication and my teaching, and we always do some sort of really robust free experience before we open a paid program. So, hey, you've had this kind of taste tester. If you like the way I teach, now you need this thing, we can help you with it in this offer. But if not, find a teacher that you do resonate with because you need this thing.
Yeah. So is that how you would define high converting copywriting when you get into those little minutiae?
High converting copywriting, I just define as copy that gets you results, AKA normally sales and revenue. So we judge high converting copy not on really any kind of nuances or any kind of emotional, like, oh, I thought this sounded great. No, it's hard numbers. And that's a bit of being a copywriter, is that you can get that really tangible feedback. For example, when we went from emailing our list twice a week to once a week to twice a week. Now we do more like 3 times a week, sometimes more. But when we went from one time a week to 2 times a week, we saw our open rates go from the mid to high 20% open, which is actually great. Standard open rate, we have more than 10K on our list. So standard open rate is 15 to 20%. And the higher your email subscriber number is, the more it's okay if that number is a little lower. Like I've written for clients who have 100,000, 200,000 people on their list, and they're really happy with 15% opens. So right. Mid to high 20s is not bad. I mean, that's good. It's on the high end of standard. But when we switch to emailing twice a week, all of a sudden our open rates jump up to the high 30s/low 40s. So it's consistency of, hey, now we're showing up more. And so I can look at that and I can see, whoa, that's a big jump, and it's stayed that high. What did we do differently? And I can go and look, oh, well, the main thing we did differently is we got more regular with our emails rather than sending them once a week. And sometimes it might be on Tuesday, other times it might be on Thursday. It's kind of like whenever we feel like sending it. We pretty much always mail on Tuesday, Thursday now, almost always. And that's the thing that I can see that helped those open rates jump. So, you can also assess your copywriters. If your business is at the level that you're hiring a copywriter, it's pretty easy to see, are they doing a good job or not? Because you can look at your open rates, you can look at your click-through rates, you can look at your conversion rates and see, hey, is this better than the last launch when I use my own emails, or is this not as great?
Mm-hmm. How often are you emailing them to buy something versus a value email? Because I've heard that you don't want to oversaturate. If you're constantly selling an email, you get a lot more unsubscribes. So do you have a formula, or do you find something that works?
So we're constantly calling to action. Every email, there's a call to action, but a call to action isn't always to a sale. So a call, like we have an email that will go out 2 days from now that I just reviewed that has a PS to join the priority notification list of our copywriting certification that will open again in January. So that's a call to action. It's telling someone to do something, but there's nothing for them to buy. The whole rest of the email is on my 5-step energy and mindset practice that I've done every morning since 2018. That's made a radical transformation in my life. And I go through every single step. So it's like, I mean, I've taught it on a stage, it's a super valuable email with a very helpful practice. And then a PS, a call to action. So how often you sell will open our big program, usually twice a year. So where it's not just always available. And then a lot of our sales are actually behind the scenes. So we have a certification, and then we have a next level. We call it the Clickworthy Copywriting CEO program. So once people finish the certification, there's a next level that they can step into. And then we'll normally do a few affiliate launches for people that I trust, whose work has benefited me throughout the year, but we do our best to space those out. So, how often are we selling? I would say maybe every other month there might be something, but yet we're emailing 2, 3, sometimes 4 times a week, like always. So I think that does matter. I think you can, if you are someone who emails every single day and you want to sell something every week, I think you can get away with it because you're being so consistent. And we are businesses. We are not nonprofits. We are businesses that exist to provide value for people in exchange for value that they give us. And they're giving us money, and we're giving them programs and coaching and services that can help them achieve certain results that they want. Hopefully it's balanced in their favor. I mean, that's my goal, is that anyone who pays us money feels like they got at least 10 times the value of what they actually gave us. So my answer is a little circuitous on that one, but I think it is something to be mindful of. What you don't want to do is never email consistently, and then you have a sale and you email every day for 2 weeks, because you will lose subscribers, and it just feels gross. It's like, who is this person? I never hear from them, and now I only hear from them when their hand is out. So you do want to be giving some value along the way before, and that's the principle of reciprocity, which is a buying trigger that we teach in our programs. But you are more likely to give to someone if they have first given to you. That's just human nature.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. I feel like we could talk forever about this.
Yeah.
But I think it's time to wrap it up, and maybe we'll just have to do a part 2 and, have more questions. But I feel like it is so important. And, people come to me and they're like, I need a website. And I'm like, I now have a policy that I will not create a website unless our clients have a copywriter.
Wow.
They need to hire a professional photographer for the photographs. You need to have a professional copywriter who writes the copy. Otherwise, we won't do it, because it makes our job not just more challenging, and it's not because I'm being selfish. It's that it literally sometimes makes it drag on, impossible, doesn't start. It affects timelines, and the quality then of the product is not as good. And ultimately, if we can create, and we just, as an example, just worked with a client, professional photography, professional copywriting. We had that site designed and up and live within a matter of weeks. And it is fantastic, because between the work that we did from both the foundation and the design, then the photography and the copywriting, to me, it's the perfect package. It's all of those essential things that come together.
So good. And it's so important. That's actually, when I was starting out in copywriting, I often worked with designers, because it also reflects on your work as the designer. If you design this beautiful site and then the words don't make sense, it's not going to work for them. You can have the best design in the world, but if the words don't make sense or don't resonate, the design can't fix it. So they really do go hand in hand. And I think that's so smart. And I'm sure that it calls up a next level of client to you as well. And also let some people who really want to work with you, like, take that extra step that's going to be so valuable for them to get the copywriter and have the whole, as you said, the whole package.
Exactly. Oh, and I can't wait for us to collaborate more. And
Okay.
I see many projects for us in the future.
Love it.
Amazing. Now, I know you've got a great guide, so we'll share the link to that, which is the guide to the business of copywriting. So if anybody is actually interested in building a business as a copywriter, or you are one, you can download this guide from Anna and, perhaps join that program, that group that you've got starting in January. And I'll be emailing that out to my list as well in the next couple of days.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. This has been such a joy to connect with you, Laura, and really excited to have had the opportunity to share. And yes, if anyone has any questions, please do tag me so that I can see the notification and respond to you.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody who joined us, and have an amazing, I was going to say night, but day, since it's 8 p.m. where I am. So have an amazing day, everybody. And we'll see you on the next week. I don't know. I'm still getting my schedule correct here while I'm abroad. Amazing. Thanks, everybody.